Well, lucky for us, dragon attacked when he did. Saved us from the headsman's axe. I'll make sure to show Alduin my gratitude later by thanking him right before I kick his ass.
We'll meet again.
Anyway, we got a long ways to go before that, though, right? First things first, we just need to escape this keep here. Apparently the way behind us has been blocked off, so don't have any way to go but forward. I guess this is the tutorial section of the game, sort of. Not really like the previous tutorials, like in Fallout 3 and Oblivion. This one doesn't really have that leaving the vault or exiting the sewers moment, where the world brightens up before you and you realize it's time to explore. Don't really have that here. Something they didn't include for whatever reason.
Just like the children's stories and the legends, the harbingers of the end times. We better get moving. Come here. Let me see if I can get those bindings off.
Yep, about time.
There you go. You may as well take Gunnar's gear. He won't be needing it anymore.
Sounds like a good idea, but first, a selfie. Go ahead and get used to these camera controls and the controls in general. Been playing ESO heavily lately, like really heavily. In fact, any neglecting I've done of uploading from day to day has been specifically because I've been grinding away at ESO. But the controls are so similar there that it's just a couple buttons that are backwards, basically, and get in here, and it's kind of hard to get used to one and the other. Although this will come back in no time. This is kind of like riding a bike. Once you played Skyrim enough, the controls kind of become second nature. So I do need to get back in here and remember how to set all my favorites, get weapon sets selected. I know you got to move things to your favorites list first, and then select your weapon sets from there. Eventually it's just going to be bow in one hand and my melee weapons in the other. That's pretty much my standard go-to setup. And then all the spells I might need to switch to quickly, any kind of summons, things like that, will be in the favorites list.
No way to open this from our side.
Actually, like this though, there's no blocking whatsoever with dual wield. Interesting mechanic there, like that. So, having to take the spell out of the left hand if I choose to block. Really like that. Really cool. I wonder if I get a high enough level if I might just sacrifice the bow altogether, depending on how many extra skill points I've got, and then put a two-handed in one and dual wield in the other. That was a thought. Probably not, though. Probably not. I'll probably be pretty invested in my bow and my dual wielding by the time you get there, so, yeah. Let's get our first taste of combat here. Kind of get a feel for it. I have no stamina pool to speak of, really, to draw from here, so not much I can do is really just mash my trigger. That's about it. Yeah, that's the first battle in the tutorial, is mash the trigger as fast as you can and hope that the Imperials are more worried about Ralof than they are about you, type thing. You'll notice I'm going to keep a summons up a lot of the time. I really am. I'll have a follower and stuff for those of you that like to run Skyrim solo. Anyone who runs Skyrim solo, right, without a follower at all, I know a lot of people like to play that way, with the same restrictions that I'm applying here to my character. Not using any restoration glitches of any kind, as far as that goes. Not that I won't make potions. When I do, it's normally for economic reasons. A lot of the potions you make have a pretty good gold return on them. So you learn a couple recipes for things that, you can make a potion with free ingredients that's worth 100 plus gold. It only weighs like, what, half a pound at the most? Or 1 unit of weight at the most? It's pretty good return, especially early in the game type of thing. But as far as, everyone knows what the restoration glitch is, or most people should, where you get these ridiculous stats on your weapons and stuff like that. And well, the game lets me do it, so it must be part of the game. Okay, I'm going to let the gamers justify that to their own conscience or whatever. Anything you do that makes the game overly easy so that you can function on higher difficulties to make yourself feel like you're beating it, you know deep down in your heart whether that's the case or not, so I don't have to say anything. But for me, we're not going to be using that. We'll go with our basic crafting. Now, if I find a potion of blacksmithing sitting on a shelf, All right, and I use that to increase my blacksmithing skills to get an extra point or two at the blacksmith. I don't have a problem with that, but doing that for myself, creating a potion for myself that's so overpowered that it gives me instant god mode on all my equipment, I have a serious problem with that. I won't be doing that. So I find the need in battles where you can sometimes be mobbed by anywhere from 3 to 5 or 6 enemies, or maybe even more, or even dragon situations, where the dragon with his breath can reduce your health bar in the matter of about a second or a second and a half. And you might get caught in a 4 or 5 second burst of that, so it's enough to kill you twice over. You may not have the healing buffs to even keep yourself alive, even if you go straight to your menu and heal up type thing. Or, you know, Draugr Deathlords, especially once you get into Ebony gear, where if they don't one-hit you, they two-hit you every time, and stuff like that, and there may be 2 or 3 or 4 of them present. Having a tank in there, having a follower in there to draw some of that keep, right? When they are able to, because if you have to hit something 30 times and it only has to hit you once, the odds of you being able to fend that off in a playstyle where you can't block are pretty slim, okay? Especially when there's not a lot of evasive tactics in the game. You don't have dodge roll. Even blocking in and of itself at lower levels and lower skills, lower skill level is pretty ineffective. You know, it's a big stamina drain. I know that. You know, and so on and so forth. Well, I can't block anyway, dual wielding. So I'd have to tip my hat to those of you who do this, because I would imagine it involves either a whole lot of kiting, trying to pull out enemies one by one, doing a lot of fleeing, getting a lot of damage over time effects, a lot of time-consuming stuff. I don't like spending 5 minutes in 30-second battles. I really don't. I've never been a big fan of playing that way. If that's necessary, then you're kind of outside the threshold of manageable difficulty. If I can't get in there and fight, right, and utilize what the game really does give me to fight, like a tank, you know, having a follower, followers are in here for a reason, so being able to utilize one to draw some of the heat, so I could get in there and actually do work on enemies who could essentially annihilate me with 1 or 2 hits, yeah, I don't have any problem with that at all. So, alright, so the limits, once again, to recap, I did cover this in the last video, but for those that don't know, the limits here are going to be fur armor. I pretty much decided on that, fur armor, and iron weapons. And whatever basic smithing and enchanting skills I have for myself across the table. Nothing specially crafted, nothing specially exploited, nothing specially glitched. No mods. I mean, I'm playing on PS3, so obviously there's not going to be any mods or any of that type of crap. Wouldn't do it anyway, even if I could, but there you have it. So,
we might need that gold once we get out.
And for those viewers who are like, well, I like the mods. I like the dragons that look like My Little Ponies and all this other, you know, base mace stuff where you have a dubstep cannon as a mace. And I mean, really, some of it's really funny and some of it's really cool. For those of you that are into all that kind of stuff, well, yeah, that's not here, you know. But those of you who just want to just see a playthrough, just run around, do some adventuring, talking about things. We'll get into everything, I'm sure, through this playthrough. Everything from the politics in Skyrim and stuff to what have you, some lore things. It's really going to be interesting when we get to the 7,000 steps. Because if you read those stones going up there, if you actually pay attention to them, it gives a new perspective on the Empire, per se. To kind of put in a nutshell where I come from as far as the whole Empire Stormcloak thing, all right? The Empire as it was and the Empire as it is today are two almost completely opposite things. The honorable, majestic Empire, which essentially controls, you know, Cyrodiil and the areas around Cyrodiil and this and that, and is the go-to power, kind of like the states were, you know, in the world at large, even though it had its enemies and it had its people who hated it mostly out of jealousy more than anything else. You know, from afar, whatever, for the most part, even the people who were sitting there bickering the loudest were accepting our charity. They still relied on us and leaned on us heavily, and probably were resentful of that, as they weren't self-sufficient, that they needed our help, and we were willing to give it, and they hated us even the more for that. And that seems to be the global case, as far as the states were concerned. Just, you know, kind of put it in just kind of an overview, kind of an outside-of-the-box looking in. Not so much the case now. A lot of the decisions we made, allowing outside policy to start governing us from inside, has destroyed us from within, so we're a shell of what we were. And no, we don't deserve this same respect, basically because the angle we're coming from here in the States now is almost a mirror reflection of the outside influences that used to try to assault us from outside. Well, they got inside the gates, and now they run us from within, essentially, and they're undermining it on purpose. They can call it what they want. They can politically correct this and PC that and do whatever. I don't care. I mean, it's really the way it's going. And so that's the state we're in now. Well, it's not too different with the Empire there. You have the Empire, and once they had essentially beaten the elves back, rather than avoid prolonged struggle, they decided to break weak and sign this concordant with the elves to basically give away the rights of everyone who leaned on the Empire for some kind of guidance and stability. And so they sold out everyone else, including themselves, essentially. And so now they would enforce Thalmor's desire to strip Skyrim of its religious privilege. And when you talk about rights, whether it be religious, social, whatever, when you start taking from the people their right to exist as they see fit type of thing, and govern them from a podium where you don't deserve to govern anymore. Skyrim had forfeited that when they didn't need to. All they had to do was ally with, say, Evanhard, ally with the outside alliances, some of the elves who had a serious problem with the Altmer, the orcs, and anybody else, right? To put an end to the Altmer, altogether. Rather than do that, they chose to side with the Altmer and become their bootlickers. And basically anything the Altmer dangles in front of the Imperial faces, the Imperials will put their mouth on and ask if that's enough. All right? Please, Daddy, may I have another? And the Altmer having their way. And then they tell the Imperials, well, you're not paying your tithes. You need to go get your tithes from these people too to support your indulgence, and we'll allow you to indulge yourselves as long as you basically be our lackeys. And so that's the role that the Empire is playing today, not the majestic Empire of old. And you find that the majestic Empire of old really stems from Skyrim anyway. Go read those 7,000 steps. Remember that, the Emperor needs to be dragonborn to light those dragon fires, or something along those lines, right? And this is all stemming back to Skyrim foundation here. And now Skyrim is basically being disregarded and is going to be used as, it's going to be leached on by the Empire. And now that Skyrim says, well, once we settle our differences, we're going to kick your bitch ass out of our land, which they have every right to do, because the Empire now has no right to dictate anything over them. They can't dictate themselves. They're just bitches to the Thalmor. Just the way it is, right? Well, I like that. I like the Empire. Well, maybe the Imperials of old are what one envisions when they think of the Empire, just like most citizens of the States now envision the states of old. Back in the Reagan years when things were prosperous, when things were going good. Way back when we actually had some nuts about ourselves. And actually were able to stand on what was morally right regardless of what the majority opinion was, and so on and so forth. But there's none of that anymore. So the visions of old don't apply to the present. And that reality is hard to accept, but the longer you refuse to accept it, the more that disease is allowed to fester. All right, and so it is with the Empire here. And if you go through the Dark Brotherhood, you actually meet the Emperor himself, and he seems so far removed from the Empire you see invading Skyrim lands, running around, delivering up innocent Nords to Thalmor torturers just because the Thalmor demanded. It's so pathetic. You see these caravans of Imperials dragging these guys barefoot through the snow to it's just horrible, and they're delivering them up to Thalmor executioners. They are serving as fetch 'em go-to boys, little hirelings for the Thalmor ambassadors to just torture people and make sure that the religious rights of the individuals of Skyrim, not to mention everyone else, are disregarded, not to mention everything else. All right, see, it was Ulfric's civil right to do what he did. Whether he was right, whether his motives were right or wrong is irrelevant. By Skyrim law, he was right to do what he did, and that's a Skyrim matter. And the Imperials want to come in and dictate that he should have done this, and they're going to put down any rebellion and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Well, the Thalmor are loving it because it's weakening both sides. So they can come in and do what they say they're going to do to your face, is subjugate all of mankind to show them who's really, the seniority here, who's really ruling things. It's either, conform or die type of thing. That's the Thalmor mindset, and they'll tell you that to your face. right? And if you don't like it, they'll kill you. And this, okay, and that's what the Empire is serving. They're servant girls, literally.
See where this goes.
And the Stormcloaks, essentially, when you're backed into a corner, all right, you have your civil differences to deal with on one hand, right? And then you have the Empire, or what's left of it, on the other, and then Thalmor behind them. All right, you're facing an evil on several fronts, and the Thalmor wouldn't have it any other way. So anyway, they can get their hands in that little pie to keep things all stirred up. Well, you know, of course, the presence of the dragons, the Thalmor have to realize that they are the bad guys foretold in that story, or part of, you know, the bad guys and stuff. Of course, they're not going to admit that, right? They won't admit that they're wrong in every single aspect of their existence. But there you have it. And so, situation in a nutshell, that's at least the viewpoint I'm coming from. So the people in Skyrim, they have every right to secede from this union because the Empire is not the Empire anymore. And if nothing else, Skyrim would be the Empire anyway, regardless of whether it's in the Imperial City or in Cyrodiil or not. You know, the Empire, the foundations, the roots, right, stem from this. The whole Dragonborn lore, you know, everything stems from this. This is the Heartland, essentially. No, it's not the center of Cyrodiil. It doesn't matter where it's located in the body. This is the Heartland, and there you have it. So that's the angle I'm coming from. Respect anybody else's view or whatever. I'd have a hard time respecting someone who really, really sides with the Empire and what they do, because that's well, taking the reality of the situation, you know, as it is. Like I said, respect someone's view, I guess, but I won't agree. If I seriously disagree, I just won't comment. Just leave it alone. I'm not going to change someone else's mind anyway. You know what I mean? That's just trolling for an argument there. So I'm not going to even get into that. But once again, you have one of those games where it introduces a conflict. It introduces a difference where one might take the materialistic, shallow view inside one way, and one might actually take a realistic, long-term view and understand the benefits of the other side. But once again, and either side would, I guess, say this: there is a right and wrong of it. There is a good and bad side. New Vegas was the same way. Caesar was wrong on several different levels. The whole Caesar thing, the whole thing they were doing, and this and that, and blah blah blah. Their measure of success in what they had done and how they had done it is irrelevant, and no, it doesn't justify the means. Their actual existence in and of itself was an abomination, right? And the NCR, with their flaws or whatever, made up by the people complaining about it, right? Which is kind of ironic. If the people would stop and look in the mirror for a second, realize most of their fucking yelling is coming right back in their own face. It doesn't matter. The NCR had the right of it overall, as being at least more or less, you know, just people just trying to just do their thing, get by. Oh, well, there's corruption and this and that and blah, blah, blah. There's going to be corruption in everything, right? As long as people are involved, because, well, there's assholes in this world. Not liking that doesn't make it less so. Right? No different here. But there is a right of it and there is a wrong of it. I would also bring up this argument, especially for quote-unquote peace lovers and so on and so forth, is that peace is all great until you're getting shot at, all right? If you don't shoot back, you're dead, okay? Kill them before they kill you, right? That's what war's about, type of thing, right? Well, who started it and who did this? Well, whatever, you know, honestly, deciding who started it and fired the first shot doesn't stop those bullets from punching your brain out of your skull. Sorry, at some point you got to deal with that, then get down to, you know, making sure that doesn't happen again, right? Solving the issue that started it in the first place. But with the conflict on, and that's the thing is Skyrim here, these people pushed into a corner. When you see the end of the road and you know what's going to happen and you can stop the bleeding now, you do so. And if it requires some bloodshed now to stop the people that are cutting you and making you bleed, then you do so. You do so if you know the end. You know who's not going to like it? The ones that are in the wrong. And as long as you cater to the ones that are in the wrong, right, and stop doing the right thing because they don't like it, once you keep doing the right thing and shut the hell up out of the people who don't like it, the ones that are doing the wrong thing, well, then good things happen, and the bad people get moved out of the way. That's just what you call making the stand, you know, just doing the right thing. That's what makes it hard. It's because a lot of times the majority, to avoid conflict, will allow the wrong thing to happen, and the people who do the wrong things take advantage of that. They can do more of the wrong things because they know people would rather just be left alone and rather not struggle. So you come in the back door and you plant all your seeds and you do all your work, and when the weeds start sprouting up, people are too lazy to pick them, and they'd rather just avoid it. Well, that doesn't stop the weeds from growing, okay? That's the situation here. So the people in Skyrim are like, hell no. Okay, if they dangle it in front of your face, you can put it in your mouth, but we're not going to have it, and you're not going to make us do it, and then make us pay for your knee pads while you get down there in front of the Thalmor. And that's what, you know, that's what the Skyrim citizens are saying. You can't make us pay for your indulgence. No. It doesn't work like that. And the people that don't like it are the people in the Empire. Well, they're the ones doing it. Of course they're not going to like it. They're not going to have their way for free. Skyrim isn't just going to be subjugated and lay down like a bunch of bitches. No, they're not. Just like you did for the Thalmor, because the Empire has a complex, laying down like bitches for the Thalmor, the people in Skyrim give them a complex. They intimidate them, right? Because they're not laying down like bitches too, and the Empire just can't understand that. The Empire as it is today. The Empire we see in Oblivion, pretty cool, you know. Just doing your thing, really. Just people just doing their thing. You got a pretty stable country going on there. Not too bad, but here, it's a shame. I guess actually, the situation behind the scenes during Oblivion probably wouldn't be a whole lot different than what we see full-fledged here in Skyrim. You just kind of removed from it in Cyrodiil. Actually, this type of stuff was already kind of brewing during the time of Oblivion, wasn't it? Because the White Concordant had already... No, it hadn't been signed yet, had it? I don't know. I'm off on the time frame there. One of you guys might want to clarify that.
Imperials were waiting for us. As pretty an ambush as I ever saw. We were outnumbered 5 to 1 at least. Ulfric ordered us to stop fighting. Didn't want us all to die for nothing, I guess. I thought they were taking us south to Cyrodiil, parade us in front of the Emperor. But then, we stopped in Helgen, and you know the rest. What? Oh, hardly. I don't think even Ulfric could pull a dragon out of his pocket. Lucky for us it attacked when it did, eh? I wasn't looking forward to getting a shave from the Imperial headsman. Surely, even down in Cyrodiil, people have heard news of a war in Skyrim. The Nords are tired of spending our blood fighting the Empire's wars, and paying for the Empire's decadence with our taxes. Ulfric is our rightful High King. He's leading the fight to drive the Empire out of Skyrim, once and for all. We better keep moving.
And that really is kind of the right of it. I mean, comes down to it. Yeah.
You know, you should go to Windhelm and join the fight to free Skyrim. You've seen the true face of the Empire here today.
All debate aside, really, the gist of it is really just that.
It's Ulfric. Do you think that Damn right. You don't have to be a Nord to fight for Skyrim's freedom. You should come to Windhelm with me and join the fight to free Skyrim. You've seen the true face of the Empire here today. If anyone will know what the coming of the dragon means, it's Ulfric. I hope so. Skyrim needs people like you to fight for her freedom. Come on, you better get moving.
Right on. But I have heroic things to do first, like pick all these mountain flowers. There we go. Yeah, this isn't just like basic healing potions early on. This is money. I don't remember what combinations make what. I think it's spider eggs and red mountain flowers. I think. Maybe it's spider eggs and skeever tails or something. I don't know. We'll get to the alchemy bench and we'll figure it out. But yeah, one of them, it does something to magic. It's like ravage magicka or damage magicka. I don't remember the name of the spell, the potion either. I just know it's worth a decent amount of gold. And I should be able to make a few once I get there, assuming I don't waste all the ingredients on the wrong things.
See that ruin up there? Bleak Falls Barrow. I never understood how my sister could stand living in the shadow of that place. I guess you get used to it.
Yeah, even though we don't have that leaving the vault moment or leaving the sewers moment, you know, the big, oh, with, you know, the angels and the harps singing and, you know, the big blinding light and then the world spreads out before you. Not really that, okay? Didn't really have that. That moment was kind of missing. Still, you get this introduction to the world here. It's more rustic. I guess that's the word for it. This is kind of rustic, not so fantasy. Not so fantasy magic, you know, elves and fairies and harps and twinkles and sparkles and stuff. This is more blood and dirt and wood and axes and, I mean, it's just a different feel. And I guess from that angle, looking at it that way, it's really an amazing job.
It's not for me to judge.
The land is beautiful, full of variation, right? It doesn't really seem like you ever see the same thing twice. Not really. Well, a lot of the Draugr caves are almost identical and that type of thing, but crypts and tombs, well, you know, I mean, how many differences are there in graves anyway, as far as that goes? But, like, you know, you look around and there's a lot of variety in the landscape, and then it has that cold, hard feel. And I'm sure that's what they were going for, and I think they hit that nail on the head. They really did.
We're ahead of the news from Helgen, we should be fine. As long as we don't do anything stupid.
And so taking that into account, this is a work of art as far as that goes. Even the water looks cold there, you know what I mean? It has that winter look or something. I don't know. Hard, very, very rustic. A little bit of almost kind of sad trivia here is the artist that was involved with the Shivering Isles, believe it or not. He was, I read some on his background, and you might even want to go look this up. I believe it's on the Bethesda site. Maybe I can leave a link for that down below. But the artist, the lead artist, who was involved with Shivering Isles, involved with the very last stages of the DLC with Oblivion, and then was the lead concept artist for Skyrim. A lot of the design here, from everything from architecture to the creatures and just you name it. He passed away, and from what I understand, this guy just he waked up with a pencil in his hand and he went to sleep with a pencil in his hand. He was just drawing all the time and coming up with ideas and passing stuff around, and he was always there when you'd stop by his. I can't even sit here and talk and act like I know the guy. I don't, but I did read the article and it was touching. Almost, they wrote it really well, and Bethesda obviously cared for this guy a lot for obvious reasons. And anyway, thought I'd do him a little bit of just a little bit of respect here because yeah, there you go. You know, no one likes to see that. So anyway, but this is his mark on the world right here, this game that so many of us enjoy. So all the little sights and sounds that you really love and cherish in this game, you can thank him for a lot of that, a lot of this design. Like walking into this village here, this whole look, very down to earth and rustic look. That's his baby right there. Him and the people that were working with him. So definitely a moment to give a shout out to that amazing individual.
But is it safe for you to be here?
Did I see you talking to Sven? Maybe not.
Oh, I forgot about Sven.
But I would...
Sven's my favorite sacrifice to Boethia. To tell you the truth, I'm not lying. Yes, sir. Alright, a little bit of weight management here. Actually, I want to chop some wood because I want to be able to upgrade my bow. I'm not sure what kind of bow I'm going to stick with. I'm not going to go with anything that requires steel. So, I guess only that which requires wood or leather straps. I think the hunting bow requires leather straps to upgrade. It looks a little better than the longbow. The longbow is so plain and simplistic. They're about the same thing, give or take. Maybe a point of damage difference. I don't know.
Get away from him if I were you.
So, actually, neither of them just look fantastic, but
what's happened?
whatever.
And who's this? One of your comrades?
Not a comrade yet, but a friend. I owe her my life, in fact. Is there somewhere we can talk? There's no telling when the news from Helgen will reach the Imperials.
Helgen? Has something happened? You're right. Follow me. Todd, come here a minute. I need your help with something.
What is it, woman? Sven drunk on the job again?
I do like the voice actress for Girder. Yeah, very cool.
Ralof, what are you doing here?
I think firewood's like really heavy. I think it's like 5 pounds a piece or something. I don't know. Yeah, I was about to say I was gonna be overweight here in just a second. That's fine. You also notice I'm not gonna be throwing stuff down in the environment, just dropping things on the ground. That does lead to problems with freezing, lagging, things like that. Keeping that down will prolong your stable gameplay. So what I will do is go find containers to put my stuff in. I want to drop or trash anything, and anything counts as a container, whether it's a body or a barrel, or it doesn't matter. Anything that you can put something in or take something out of counts as a container. But it gives the game one less animation to keep track of in the world, because something you drop could essentially stay there until it maybe eventually gets washed out after several game days. I guess that's possible. But for the most part, it'll just lay there, and no point in stressing the game any more than it already is.
That's right. Don't worry, Uncle Ralof. I won't let those soldiers sneak up on you.
Now, Ralof, what's going on? You two look pretty well done in. I can't remember when I last slept. Where to start? Well, the news you heard about Ulfric was true. The Imperials ambushed us outside Darkwater Crossing. Like they knew exactly where we'd be. That was 2 days ago now. We stopped in Helgen this morning, and I thought it was all over. Had us lined up to the headsman's block and ready to start chopping.
The cowards.
They wouldn't dare give Ulfric a fair trial. Treason for fighting for your own people. All of Skyrim would have seen the truth then. But then, out of nowhere, a dragon attacked.
You don't mean a real, live...
I can hardly believe it myself. And I was there. As strange as it sounds, we'd be dead if not for that dragon. In the confusion, we managed to slip away. Are we really the first to make it to Riverwood?
Nobody else has come up the South Road today, as far as I know.
Good. Maybe we can lay up for a while. I hate to put your family in danger, Gerda, but...
Nonsense. You and your friend are welcome to stay here as long as you need to. Let me worry about the Imperials. Any friend of Ralof's is a friend of mine. Here's the key to the house. Stay as long as you like. If there is anything else you need, just let me know.
These aren't pompous-ass Imperials worried about politics. These are down-to-earth people just doing their thing. Knowing damn well what the right thing to do is here. Sorry, that's just... I can't see it any other way. And certainly take advantage of these,
There is something you could do for me.
these items here.
For all of us here. The Jarl needs to know if there's a dragon on the loose. Riverwood is defenseless. We need to get word to Jarl Balgruuf in Whiterun to send whatever troops he can. If you'll do that for me, I'll be in your debt.
Thanks, sister. I knew we could count on you.
I ought to get back to work before I missed, but did anyone else escape? Did Ulfric?
Don't worry. I'm sure he made it out. It'll take more than a dragon to stop Ulfric's Stormcloak. I'll let them into the house and, you know, show them where everything is.
Help them drink up our mead, you mean? Good luck, brother. I'll see you later.
Don't worry about me. I know how to lay low.
I'm glad to help any way I can. Lucan over in the Riverwood Traders says thieves broke into his store. Strange. He says they hardly took anything. Cross the river and then head north. You'll see Whiterun on its hill as you pass the falls. Jarl Balgruuf? I don't mean to be disrespectful as he's ruled Whiterun Hold well for years, but he seems in over his head now. He's been trying to stay out of the war, but it can't last. He's going to have to pick a side. I'm afraid he's going to make the wrong choice. I wouldn't say that. But he and Ulfric have been at odds for years, and I'm afraid Balgruf will end up siding with the Empire because of it. But it's hard to believe that even Balgruf would choose Elisif over Ulfric. Of course, Ulfric's cause is just. It's time for Skyrim to rid itself of the Empire. The Empire may have been good for Skyrim once upon a time, but those days are long past. Banning the worship of Talos was the last straw. Thalmor everywhere, dragging people off for honoring our own gods. I'm glad Ralof is helping drive them out of here. If I was a bit younger, I might have joined the fight myself. I suppose she's Jarl Elisif now. She married High King Turig just before Ulfric killed him. The Empire supports her claim to be High Queen. I don't really have anything against her. Not her fault that her husband Turig was bought and paid for by the Empire. But she's nothing but a puppet for the Empire now, with her husband Turig dead. Ulfric will make sure she never takes the throne as High Queen. Some say murdered, but it was a lawful challenge in the old way. Ulfric called him out as a traitor to Skyrim, and killed him in single combat. If Turig couldn't defend his throne, he had no business being High King. No, not until the moot meets to choose another, and it won't meet until one side or the other wins the war. Don't worry, though. Ulfric is our rightful High King. He'll drive out the Empire, and Skyrim will have peace at last.
Alright, what I'm going to do now is do a little weight management here. I'll upgrade some of my gear, steal any ingots I can to throw some stuff into my stuff so I can sell it. And anyway, before I get any questing done, though, yeah, I won't start before I get any questing done. Alright, we'll do that on the next one. You want to subscribe? Click that button up top. For the rest of this Let's Play, click that image in the middle, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.